we're off and running again with the second film in the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks really great.
Well, okay. I do have a lot of problems. Now, granted, this is completely based just on this trailer. No Omegahedron. As far as I could see, no Hart Bachner. What is this even? I didn't see a Popeye's fried chicken anywhere in this thing.
Did they even bother to do any research?
Did they do no research? The Supergirl trailer, the first trailer, has hit, and we're going to do our little reaction. And this is my reaction. Chad, what's yours? Okay, done.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Now, we're going to break it down a little bit, even though everyone else has already done it. I will say this is easy to break down, mainly because we're not given a lot, but we also are aware this is completely based on existing source material. Superman was Gunn's story. He came up with it, and so we were like, what's that mean? What's this mean? This is really just so close to, at least what I can tell, very close to Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow by Tom King, which is one of the best Supergirl stories you'll ever read. And I have problems with Tom King here and there, but when he works, when he's firing on all cylinders, that's one of the best ones. It is True Grit, but he admits it. He's like, no, I just took True Grit and then I put Supergirl in it. Great. So other than the fact that the movie will include Lobo, which apparently he had wanted to do in the graphic novel as well.
Oh, really?
It was meant to be a Supergirl story, and it was based on True Grit. But the Rooster Cogburn, the tough person that Ruthie, the girl, is trying to hire to get revenge on the guy who killed her father, was going to be Lobo, and Supergirl was going to be there, I think, as a conscience, and well, you shouldn't kill all these people. And it was actually DC, one of the editors was like, Tom, great idea, but hey, why don't you just make Supergirl the Rooster Cogburn? And he's like, oh, yeah, it works. So Lobo was written out. So yes, this is based on existing source material, which means when you watch a trailer, if you've read the book, you're like, yeah.
And I have not read the comics.
You haven't?
You're going to have to fill me in on some of the things you're noticing.
So good. And it looks great. It looks very in keeping with, it's James Gunn sensibility. A lot of people going like, oh, okay, this is DC's Guardians. Only because the story entirely takes place off of Earth. Though Gunn has come out and said, well, okay, hold on. And that everyone's going like, oh, that means probably a button scene, where she comes back and maybe we get a cross cameo where maybe it's now Corn Sweat going like, what you been up to, cuz? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
We go, we know.
It could even be, maybe that's how it opens. Maybe it starts with her leaving Earth, picking up right after
maybe so.
Superman.
Yeah, she's on her way out in the Superman with Krypto going off to party.
Thanks for watching him, bitch.
I have a big question, which isn't answered by the trailer, but I'm like, it's not a huge part, but it's a part. One very obscure, not very obscure, but you never see them anymore. Supergirl supporting character is in the graphic novel, and I just wonder if they're going to put Comet the Super Horse in the movie. It's like, I can't believe that Tom King worked Comet into the story and made it work, but I don't know if the movie's actually going to go,
who knows?
Comet's a bit much.
It does look pretty wacky.
It does look pretty wacky. Oh, I will say this. Who's the breakdowns? Is it Future Rock Stars? Is that what they're called?
New Rock Stars?
New Rock Stars.
Yeah.
I watched their breakdown, which dropped 45 minutes after the trailer was released.
Yeah, I don't know how these guys
they get advanced. Especially the bigger they get.
Mm-hmm.
However, what I found really interesting was that guy is good. I've seen him do a couple breakdowns, and he knows his comic stuff. But what was interesting is he's certainly calling out Woman of Tomorrow, but I don't think he's read it either, because there are lots of parts of his breakdown where he goes, like that part in the trailer, which we're going to get to, where she's screaming just out in space, and he goes, maybe that's her reacting to and it's like, well, that is from the actual graphic novel, and we know exactly what she's screaming about, so there's no speculation needed, pal. Anyway, that's not me trying to get a dig in. I was like, have you not read it?
So yeah, you see right off the bat, I mean, the Guardians of the Galaxy comparisons are and I saw somebody on Threads, so this is a bitchy nerd going,
"Ooh, is that their name on Reddit? Bitchy nerd."
Might as well have been. Somebody's saying like, no, you only think it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy because you've seen exactly 5 movies in your life. and there was all these comments on it going, no, buddy, that's not even an insult against the movie that it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes,
that's just the most recent reference point that we have in pop culture. Like, relax, dude.
What we seem to be looking at is Kara's ship interior, because she's not just flying through space. She has a ship to go out to party for her birthday. So yeah, the inside is very junky. It looks like someone who's probably been on a bender, and for some reason there's a record player
which has alien character.
Yeah,
it looks like alien writing on
text on it, so it seems so weird, like an alien LP, record player. It seems weird.
Yeah,
but Krypto is licking beer bottles, knocking them over, and tips one onto the record, which causes it to play. And we find out that Kara, like most people in the DCU, apparently has excellent taste in music.
Yeah,
because we get a classic Blondie song, "Call Me," which runs through the whole trailer, and it's a great choice.
And I love that there's this is the only hint we have that she's not in a normal apartment, that there's this control panel on the ground that starts sparking.
Krypto pees on a newspaper, Daily Planet newspaper. Right on Superman's face. But still, it's funny. And the headline is like, was it Superman
saves
a town from a
nuclear reactor explosion. And then there's a sub-story that says Supergirl rescues cats.
Which a lot of people, including the guy from New Rockstars, pointed out that is both funny, as in how demeaning to Supergirl, and she doesn't look very happy in the picture. She's kind of mopey. He did a zoom in. She's just like got cats in her arms. She's like, but also it's sort of inside baseball thing, a reference to the Donner movie.
Yeah.
But also the Donner movie scene inspired a screenwriting guru who put out a book called Save the Cat, which he was inspired by that scene in Superman the movie. And he says this is the easiest way, not that they should always save cats, but it's the easiest way to get your lead character to be likable. You give them a moment somewhere in there, and it doesn't have to be a major moment, where they do something that everyone could just go, oh, of course, he saved the cat. And so, yes, so that's more of like,
yeah.
She is a hero, and occasionally she will get cats out of trees. So good for her. But yes, Krypto pees on it, and then we follow the pee. I never thought I'd be saying that. Hey, guys out there in PSAPS land, always follow the pee.
Always follow the pee.
Anyway,
so yes, shirt design.
It drips down into like this hatch thing, which apparently has got.
Well, the pee happens after that sparking bit. So this is right after that we see the spark.
What?
It's 2 different shots.
The pee is what makes it spark.
No, it's the beer that he's knocked over. You can see it
spilling.
Oh,
it's the beer. Sorry, different yellow liquid. Forgive me. Yes, you're absolutely right. Then Krypto pees on the paper, and then we see Kara waking up, clearly hungover. Sunglasses on. She's like, oh, you actually got most of it on the paper this time. Good buddy.
Then we see her about to get picked up by a space bus.
Yeah, space bus.
And this is very Hitchhiker's Guide kind of thing, with this weird bus driver with weird implants in his head.
Yeah, and I don't know if it'll be, it seemed, I mean, she's not with Ruthie at this point, so I think she's meeting Ruthie on the bus. In the comic, she meets Ruthie before they get on the bus, but it doesn't matter. But different from the comic, she's walking around kind of in the comic, she's just in her Supergirl uniform, partying different, planets and hanging out. And everyone's like, oh, you're super right. You're one of the supers. Yeah, we don't mess with you. Here she's very, she's got just like a rock and roll t-shirt on, and she's
the same trench coat thing, but civilian clothes underneath.
Yeah, and her goggles.
And the next shot, she's in the space bar, which is, whenever you have a bar in outer space, it's always going to remind people of Star Wars. So, but
though this one, there's a lot of Earth referencey things.
She walks in, she steals a drink from somebody. She
steals a drink, and in voiceover, we hear her saying, "I, Kara Zor-el, hereby declare or whatever. She's like that 23 will be the best year ever. So she's on a birthday bender. And yeah, she blows out the drink. She looks at Krypto and she goes, and that's a pretty low bar.
Pretty
it's
low
like
bar.
between you and me. She hasn't had that's the thing I really like about the graphic novel is that there is an essential difference between Kara and Kal-El. And that is Kal-El did not know Krypton. He ends up on Earth. He is Kryptonian, but he didn't know. He has to learn it all after the fact. She lived through it. And she lived through the death of Argo City because Argo City survives the explosion of Krypton. And we're going to get to that in the trailer. But it doesn't last for very long. It lasts for a while. She grows up and then is shot to Earth as, like a teenager. So she had to see her planet die. She had to see her planet die and then her city and her family. And it's like, oh, that will change a person.
So that is the next thing in the dialogue. We hear, I guess, Ruthie saying, I didn't know any of y'all were still around.
Yeah.
That must have been really hard losing everything you knew in a day.
Yes.
I don't know if this is mentioned in the comic book.
It's actually directly lifted.
Okay, good.
The thing about, she goes, Krypton didn't die.
Didn't die in a day. And
it's
I
like
love
the gods, she mentions a pantheon. I think she's meaning that the last of Krypton that she was on, it did not explode. So she got to see people die of kryptonite poisoning. Zor-El had, I think it's Zor-El's creation. The dome thing is like an instant, things are wrong, surround parts. And it's only part of the city too, because you see other parts of the city.
Yeah, it's a small down.
So they got a chunk of it.
So we see the Kryptonians wearing the same white outfits that Jor-El and Laura were wearing in the hologram in the first movie.
Yeah, and they're doing it looks like a funeral procession.
Funeral procession, yeah. We also see them running, people running away from the destruction too.
Right. If it's like the comics, that would be her mom's coffin because Dad lives right up to shooting her off into space. So Mom dies first. And I think that's what we're seeing there.
Yeah, yeah. And then we get that shot you mentioned of her screaming in outer space, still wearing her civilian clothes, by the way.
Yeah, which is interesting. Again, but not like the comic. In the graphic novel, what the guy isn't, she is screaming about Krypton, but there's a part in Woman of Tomorrow where she is overwhelmed with pain and also bad memories. And basically in the captions, it's like she wants to release, but she realizes that if she lets go and screams, that it will hurt Ruthie, who's right next to her, and possibly cause destruction. I mean, the idea, it's almost like Black Bolt of the Inhumans. It's like, if I really let go, people will. So Supergirl flies up into space and goes into a sun and then screams. That's what I think that scene is a direct lift. Most of this feels like a direct lift, even though the comic is, of course, much more colorful. And the alien landscapes and the aliens in the comic are multicolored and bizarre. And this looks very Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's like, we got a punk rocky looking villain, which is not what he looks like in the comic at all.
Yeah.
But I think that's who we're seeing.
And so what we're told at the end of Superman, for people who aren't familiar with the comic, I'm kind of vaguely familiar with the storyline in this comic, and I've seen a few panels like in previews and stuff. The whole idea of this premise is Supergirl has gone to a planet with a red sun.
So she can get drunk.
So she can get drunk. That's the only reason, really. So in the first battle she has in the story, in the comic book, she doesn't have her powers. And she's like, she forgets for a second.
There's actually, they go to many planets on the journey, and so some she'll get powered up.
Right.
Some will be like, oh, the yellow sun, I can fly again. Then they'll end up on another planet where it's like, Yeah. So it's on and off and on and off. And that scene, which is in the trailer of her holding Ruthie and flying, but then kind of coming down hard.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the same planet. I think that first one, where it's like her powers are kind of starting to fade and she's not as invulnerable.
Right. She's not as strong. There's a line in the comic I remember reading where she says, "Oh shit, I forgot. I forgot I don't have my power." Damn it! But she still fights. She's still able to defend herself. The next shot is a really quick shot of the bus landing somewhere else. Then the shot of her walking through some mist and probably on a different planet. Looks really dirty and gritty.
Yeah.
And then the shot of all these guys holding up guns with laser shot.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like Christmas lights, and they're all pointing at her. I'm not. It looks like this might be the same bar that the first scene is in.
Again, the guy on New Rockstars or whatever, that guy he spent a lot of time on the alien text on the record player, trying to figure out if it's actually the Kryptonian language that they made for
Superman.
For Superman. And they're like, no, it doesn't look like it. I'm like, then why did you spend a minute and a half talking about that nonsense? And then with this one, the different colors of pinpoint lights, he's like going, well, let's see, the green ones could be kryptonite based, and they're pointing at these specific parts of her body, and I'm like, they're alien tech guns.
I'm assuming this was Eric Voss. He is notorious for his ridiculous.
I mean, it fills out the time, if nothing else.
Micromanaging fandom.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, maybe.
But yeah, it looks like they're attacking her in her apartment, in the shot where there's an axe in the wall. I'm not sure. The shots are going by so fast.
I don't know what this building is or where they're supposed to be. And Ruthie is with her at that point because she's standing there also when they've got the guns trained on her. And
yeah, in the bar.
Supergirl gets the badass line where it's like, oh, this isn't going to end well. She goes, for you.
And I'm wondering if this is the fight where she doesn't have her powers. Because maybe she's oh, this is going to not be good for you guys, but she's probably going to go, oh, wait, I'm on. There's a red
maybe
sign
so.
here. Maybe I'm screwed. And then that looks like the same fight where they've chased her. Maybe, who knows? It could be totally different scene.
You got the axe guy,
and it looks like they're either, if that first shot was on our ship, looks like maybe this is the same room. Or, I don't know. The wall. I
couldn't tell where it's supposed to be.
It's just messy room with some other stuff in it.
Yeah.
So we got a weird shot of one of these bandit guys with all kinds of piercings in his face.
Well, here's the thing. Mr. Man, who I guess is again, I'm not mocking the guy, and I'm jealous that he got, advance or whatever, but I'll sit there going like, he's saying that that's Krim. The bad guy of the story is Krim of the Yellow Hills, who is from Ruthie's planet and killed Ruthie's dad. But Krim has also been on a mass murder spree, jumping planet to planet, wiping out thousands of people. And the reason we find out is that there's a particular magic called a Mordru globe, that the only way you can attain it isn't about becoming like a wizard and studying for centuries and it is like you kill millions of people, and that gives you the ability to create one, because he's very strong, and he's got not an axe, he's got a sword and so forth. I don't think he's axe guy, but that's our main villain. That's the one that Ruthie wants revenge on. And of course, the only way you can really fight Supergirl is with the Mordru globe, because Supergirl does go, it is magic and I can't fight magic. So the whole thing is that the guy on the breakdown saying that's Krim. If it is, and maybe he's basing it off, he knows that actor and he's signed to say Krim, because looking at that guy, I never would have thought. I would have thought, yeah, random space mercenary guy, because he doesn't look like he does in the comics. If that's Krim, very different look.
Okay.
That's all I'm going to say.
All right. So then there's a shot in some other fight where she's turning around. Some of these shots go by really fast. It's not really worth breaking them down.
Well,
but there's
the
some
Lobo
kind of
the Lobo cameo is like 4 seconds.
There's a shot of her spinning around, looking behind her, and there's some kind of battle going on. And we see Ruthie with her sword looks like on the space bus, taking her sword out.
Space bus.
Then the shot of them running down the hallway of that's why I think maybe it's an apartment that she's in, because they're running down the hallway. It looks like it's the same building. They jump through a window out into the street there. Yeah. So it's not a ship. It's an apartment building. And then the bandits are right outside shooting, pointing guns. And what do they call the arrow things where that Chewbacca had?
Crossbow, but they called it,
Crossbows.
What they call it? For him, they changed the name to a Star Wars version.
Right. A couple of these guys are holding crossbows, probably an arrow. Yeah, they have a quiver with arrows on them too.
Yeah.
So then there's what is the dialogue here where they're walking?
Isn't that where she goes, does everyone from your planet have those powers? And then Kara says, no, it's a big group of just 2.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. They're fighting on top of like a ship or something, right?
Yeah, there's a ship crashing. She's using her heat vision to do something. A lot of quick shots here. Then then the shot of injured Krypto with her crying. and shot of her like falling to her knees because she's weak, probably because she's in a red sun system. I don't know.
Could be.
Then we get the big shot we were all hoping we'd see, like a half second of
a half
Jason Momoa.
second, and it's everything
Lobo!
you need. The thing
It's
is,
so good.
It's so weird. I mean, again, people do love them some of that DC EU Aquaman, and I found the first one not amazing but entertaining enough, and that second one is hot garbage. But here's the thing: how could you look at Jason Momoa when he comes into audition for anything and not just go, "Oh, Lobo"? Plus the fact that the man had gone into that audition thinking he was auditioning for Lobo before he got Aquaman, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll play your Aquaman," and had emailed basically everybody going, "No, Lobo's my favorite character. I've loved him since I was a kid. I want to play Lobo." And then when it became James Gunn taking over, Momoa literally texted him and said, "Lobo."
Yeah.
He looks like him. And the character that we all like Momoa playing is very much a Lobo type. Not he can be very charming, but it is that like, yeah. And he looks amazing even in 4 seconds of him walking down a hallway with the cigar in his mouth. Oh, dude, it looks great.
It's just going to be so good for him in his career, I think, too, that he's already great, but people are going to connect with him now because he's actually playing a character that fits his personality and his actual look and everything.
Yes.
And
maybe we'll get a more comics appropriate Arthur Curry somewhere down the line. I'm just saying. No offense to Mr. Momoa and the work he did.
There's some weird stuff going on behind him too. There's as he's walking towards the camera, there's people behind him like being pulled up by like tow lines or something. Like they've shot
I didn't catch that.
Cables up and they're going up in the air. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Well, the Brigands. That's I don't know how close they're going to get to the comic with that, but Krim leads a group of brigands, and they're literally, they don't go around saying "R," but they're in literally like a space pirate ship. I mean, the whole thing is, so them coming down on lines and having swords and crossbows and stuff, that's very fitting. So that could be more of Krim's dudes. I have no idea.
And so what is Ruthie saying here in this next shot?
The next one is her saying, what's Superman like?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And that's where Kara gets the most badass line in the entire thing. Yeah. And they do the hero shot.
He sees the good in everybody. And I see the truth.
Oh, dude.
And I love that line because you can tell that, because she's being, the only time we saw her, a brief moment we saw her at the end of Superman, she's drunk and being very, very belligerent. But you can hear in that line that she loves her cousin, the way that she says it.
Of course.
And it's great.
One thing that when I went into reading that graphic novel, my armor was a little bit up because you do Supergirl. Obviously, you're also commenting on Superman to some degree. And Tom King is known for, he comes up with a great story and then he'll shoehorn characters into it. And sometimes he will bend those characters and make them not like they are because he wants the story to work. And luckily, in Supergirl, he remains pretty respectful all the way. This is a tough Supergirl. And we realize she's got so much baggage. And is she going to go all out and, just slaughter people because no one's watching? And you realize she still has this innate goodness. And in the graphic novel, anytime Kal-El is brought up, it's a similar thing. It's like, I'm not him. He's the real guy. He's the hero guy. I'm doing what I can. And the whole thing is, at the end, she's still very true to who she is. And you go, oh, thank God he didn't go down the really grim and gritty route and like, my cousin, that kind of thing. Speaking of which, like, you remember when Titans first aired, when it was coming out,
mm-hmm.
the TV show, the whole thing was a trailer that ended up with Robin standing there saying Batman, and you're like, oh man, that's so hardcore. And I'm like, oh no, it's good that you can give people weight and trouble and problems and still not have to change what made them likable in the first place. So that line is good. And plus it's paired with, they're doing a callback to stuff we saw for the Superman movie where you get the full hero shot of her sober and in her costume rising, and the sun's behind her, and you're like, oh, man, that's all I want all day long.
Yeah, it looks
and then
great.
Is this the badass her swinging the like chain around and knocking people up? No, okay.
There's a shot first of Kara launching into the atmosphere and out of the planet that she's on, with the clouds dispersing, and she's still wearing her civilian clothes, and that's probably leading up to her screaming right before she goes
to scream. Yeah, I'm willing to.
And then we do see her in her suit after this.
Yeah,
finally, and she looks great. And then we get the shot where she's swinging this thing around.
And this actress is like 5'1". She's itty bitty.
She's swinging this thing around and taking out all these bad guys. And this was a shot that we saw leaked. There was a lot of drone shots when they were filming last year. And there were some shots from this scene that were leaked.
Didn't we see Lobo in those shots? It's possible we're just not seeing Lobo in action here. So
I think we did, yeah.
They're editing around, I think.
And that's it.
Yeah.
It looks absolutely fantastic. I like this is a minor thing, but I like the texture they put on the Superman crest and the DC logo. They put some like dot matrix thing across it.
They changed a little bit, and plus when you see the poster, Supergirl is not in like clean letters. It's they're kind of trying to make a little bit ragged because she's not exactly. Here's what's so great about Superman and Supergirl, and I'm glad that Gunn realizes it. The shield on its own. I mean, you don't even need text, and I love the fact that it's exactly the same. It's like, okay, this is Supergirl. You wouldn't even need to put Supergirl on there. You just put that shield up there. I'm going, buddy. You got my money already. I'm going to go watch Superman or Supergirl do super things. So that looks awesome. Did you watch the footage of the trailer presentation?
No. This is all I've seen.
Ooh. It was apparently held like in a nightclub or like a bar kind of place, which is very fitting. So not a huge crowd, and I assume they're all press. And everyone's got their phones out, and it's just James Gunn up on this little stage with a microphone going, you guys want to see it again? And they're like, let's play the trailer again. And they bring out Milly Alcock. They bring out Craig Gillespie, who is someone I'll probably end up imitating at some point, simply because, you go, oh, that's what the guy looks like. And he's probably our age, but he's a skinny, bald guy with a ball cap. And it's just very up here. He's like, I'm just really happy. Everyone really enjoyed it. It's just so exciting to work on. And I'm like, good for you again. And again, they talk up the graphic novel. Gunn is so good. Milly Alcock and the director, they didn't look like out of place, but they're clearly not great public speakers, as in hand a microphone. They're like, what am I supposed to say here? Gunn is so smooth. Gunn is crazy smooth up there. But he's like he goes, right when Peter and I are in, we haven't actually, the ink hasn't dried, whether we're actually taking over. He goes, at that time, I was reading Woman of Tomorrow. And I was like, Peter, we should just adapt this. It's like, this is one of the projects I think we could do. And then it was pretty much fast tracked, which is why we're getting it right after Superman. And I love that. So he does give Tom King all this credit, as does Craig Gillespie. And Milly Alcock is just adorable. And she's like going, she goes, it's amazing to see it because, you do the movie and you don't get to see all that stuff. And looking at it now, she goes, oh my God, it looks amazing. And way to go, Craig. And she's also going, it was a tribute and an honor. I mean, it was just a crazy honor to get the part. So I enjoyed watching that. And again, James Gunn. He's just he's doing it right so far, man.
Yeah, it was funny to see some of the comments. I didn't watch any of the breakdowns yet, but I saw some comments and threads. It's some people going, "Oh, it's great. We get to see Kandor." Like no, people all these comments going, "It's Argo City, dude."
Yeah, it's Argo City.
Come on, man, Supergirl, Argo City. But it's just this. Maybe just now I was just thinking about this. I had a brief conversation with somebody on the channel recently in relation to this pending supposed Netflix Warner Brothers merger or buyout. This guy had mentioned that what he was concerned about, just to say any concerns that anybody has about this thing are warranted. We have no idea what's going to happen, even though we're being promised this and that. But he says,
I was promised cookies.
This is going to be like Disney when they got Lucasfilm and then they just milked it to death. And and I said, well, milking an IP isn't inherently a bad thing. And I would argue Lucasfilm this guy did say that there were some things were good and some things weren't so good. And I said, Lucasfilm was milked irresponsibly because they were just didn't have any central leadership that knew what was going on. There was no plan for anything. But my take was like DC has historically been undermilked, the DC IP universe. And this is
I feel uncomfortable with this language.
what we get to see in this movie, but we see in this trailer. The rescuing of Argo Ciity from Krypton looks freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That has been in DC canon for decades, and it has never been portrayed. Even the first Supergirl movie, they didn't do it. So
no, they've never shown it. But I mean, we did see Argo City floating in space.
In inner space, where that was supposed to be. They changed all the science to it.
You're talking about the Omegahedron, okay? So there was this trailer was great, but there was no old man walking through saying squirt. So I was like, this is not my Supergirl.
Squirt. So I'm just shining a light on this. It's like we need to be grateful for what's coming in this movie because it's something we have never seen before, and we should have. And there's so much more buried in the IP,
and including Lobo in live action. There's all kinds of things.
I mean, come on.
You're absolutely right. Milking an IP isn't bad, but there just has to be quality control. That's just all it is.
Yeah.
Though they run the risk, they've got their eye, as every studio does, on when does this bubble burst? When are people going to literally stop going, or not even going, watching online, streaming? When are they going to stop wanting superheroes? You and me, never. But they've got to keep their eye on. And we were talking about yesterday, not yesterday, a couple days ago, John and I on the Monster podcast, we did Sinners, which came out this year. So we're almost done with the Monster podcast. And Sinners, Ryan Coogler, did you see it?
No, I haven't seen Sinners.
Holy mackerel. I mean, I saw it in the theater and watched it again for the podcast. It's just amazing. What we were talking about there is the studios are aware that you can go outside of IP, and as long as it's good, Sinners made a lot of money, as did Weapons, which was, again, that's non-IP, another horror movie, and great, absolutely great. Weapons is great, and it made a lot of money. So they're starting to go, all right, whether or not people are going back to the theaters or not, we can actually encourage people to start thinking outside, the next Mission Impossible or whatever. We can not worry about franchises so much. I hope that's so, because I don't want just superhero movies forever, but I want what comes out to be done by people who know what they're doing and care about it enough to do it well. Mm-hmm. So that's basically it. I would be happy with a superhero movie every month. I would be there. I'd be so pumped. As long as it's done well, that's all I ask. Yeah. And as Gillespie points out in that video from the trailer screening, he goes, you're right, James. He goes, superhero is not a genre. So I guess they've had this conversation before. He goes, superhero is not a genre. He goes, this is a coming of age story. It's like, it's all this stuff. And we've said that too. You can do any type of story in a superhero universe. Yep. You can do comedies like She-Hulk or something like that. You can do lighthearted, you can do grim and gritty, you can do everything in between. They could be romances, whatever, sci-fi epics. That doesn't mean superhero is not a thing. It's just you tell stories in that universe. And yeah, people might be in costumes and have powers, but they will also, if they're done well, be fully rounded characters that you end up like cheering for or hating or whatever. So off the soapbox, but I like that they're thinking the same way. It's like there's no reason to look down on superhero films. You look down on bad movies, period. If it's a bad movie, it's a bad movie. Doesn't matter if there were people with powers in them. That's all I'm saying. All right, that's it, guys. Did you like the Supergirl trailer? Why not? What's your deal? Always follow the P.